It was before hero training had started for the day. Everyone was dressed in their respective hero outfits, preparing themselves for another grueling day of combat training. You stood in a group with Tsuyu, Ochako, and Tenya when Izuku came out of the changing room. You noticed him and took in his appearance. His outfit had been upgraded to fit his shoot style better. He wore a dark green and full-body unitard with red boots. His boots have iron soles and his white gloves that now reach his elbows have braces in them to keep from breaking his arms and further damaging them. His knee pads go all the way up to his thighs, and a red belt wraps securely around his waist. Around his neck sits a gray diamond-shaped mask. You had to admit, he looked really good. Compared to everyone else's outfits, his was fairly simple. But that was okay because you still liked his the best. It didn't help that you had feelings for him either. Who could really help it though? He was kind, shy boy, yet he could be brave and fierce when the situation called for it. He knew the essence of being a hero, strong yet really gentle towards those who cared about it. Izuku is extremely intelligent and came up with excellent strategies in battle. You could go on forever about him. However, you don't have that kind of time as he's approaching your group. He stopped in front of your group and gave that awkward winning smile of his. You couldn't contain your excitement and stepped forward and grabbed his cheeks, pinching and squishing them. "Oh my god, you're so cute, Izuku! How do you do it?" You squealed loudly, catching the attention of half the class. They sweat dropped at your actions. Although this wasn't anything new, seeing as how you always did this to him. "Ouch! Listener, cut it out! That hurts, you know!" He whined, trying to get out of your grasp without hurting himself further. I can't help it, Izuku! You're just so adorable, and your cheeks are so squishy, it's impossible to resist! You giggled, watching him try to pry your fingers from his aching face. "Hey, listener, my cheeks are soft too. Why don't you give them a feel?" Mineta said slyly while giving you a flirtatious look. "Meh, no thanks. I think I'll stick to Izuku's cheeks," you said, not even looking at the short perverted boy, keeping your attention on the struggling male in front of you. "Damn, foiled again! You won't win next time, Midoriya!" the pervert yelled while shuffling away. "I'm not trying to win anything. I'm the victim here. Ouch!" He winced as you pinched a bit harder. Tsuyu, who was watching the whole time, decided to speak up. "You know, listener," she started. You said, still not looking away from Izuku. She continued. "I can't help but think that you have feelings for Midoriya, Ribbit." Ochako and Tenya agreeing in the background. You gasped and let go of Izuku's now sore cheeks. He stumbled back and grabbed the aching flesh, sighing in relief when you suddenly stopped your assault. Your face burned red with embarrassment. What? Whatever gave you that idea? Don't be ridiculous!" You stuttered, trying to get the blood rushing to your face under control. You glanced at Izuku to see him rubbing his cheeks and listening to the conversation closely. A light blush covering his face. "Don't lie, listener. I see the way you look at each other when the other isn't looking." Ochako grinned. "As do I. It's quite obvious if you ask me," Tenya added. "Well, it's a good thing no one asked you," you retorted. Kirishima decided to butt in. Now, listener, there's no need to be so aggressive. We don't need one more Bakugo in our class." "Oi, why don't you keep your damn mouth shut, you red-haired loser?" screamed an irritated Katsuki. He huffed and joined the conversation. "Damn Deku, just tell her you like her already so we can start training," Katsuki said, rolling his eyes before walking away. You looked at Izuku, wondering if what Katsuki said was true. Izuku shrunk away, his shyness taking over. He was cut off as a booming voice cut through the thick atmosphere. All Might standing there, in all of his glory, he instructed everyone to proceed over to the beta training grounds, where training would take place for the day. Izuku breathed a sigh of relief. He'd have to thank All Might later for stepping in. Even though All Might was secretly rooting for this ship to sail, it would have to wait until after hero training. Hero training was finally over, and everyone was exhausted. It was all sweaty and gross, so you decided to hit the shower before changing back into your school uniform. As you were in the shower, you heard the door open. You took a peek out of the curtain and saw Ochako stepping into the neighboring shower. "Hey, Ochako!" You spoke up, hoping she heard you over the shower. "Hey, listener!" she said in a happy tone. "How are you?" you asked. "Oh, I'm good. How are you doing? Still embarrassed about what happened earlier?" she replied slyly. "Of course not. Why would I be?" "Oh, I just figured since we all know you like him, why don't you just make a move? Knowing him and how shy he is, it'll be a miracle before he confesses first," she laughed. "I don't know, Ochako. What if I get rejected? I don't know what I'd do." "Just talk to him. The worst he can say is no. Besides, I have a good feeling that he won't." You couldn't see it, but you knew she was winking. "Alright, I'll talk to him after school," you said with confidence. "Good luck, listener!" During class, you texted Izuku and asked him to stay back with you for a bit. You wanted to talk with him about something. Every time you would glance at him, you noticed him fidgeting in his chair. He must be nervous, you thought. It was now after class, and everyone was finally out of the room. It was just you and Izuku now. His eyes shifted nervously between you and the floorboards beneath his feet. "So what did you want to talk about, listener?" He finally looked at you, trying really hard to maintain eye contact. "Us," you replied bluntly. He looked flabbergasted and started waving his arms around wildly and stuttering before resting them on his face, the way he always does when he is embarrassed. He stopped speaking as you gently grabbed his arm and pulled them away from his face. His face was a bright red and his eyes wide. His bottom lip was quivering slightly. Your eyes looked intently into his before trailing down to his lips. He let out a muffled yelp as you brushed your lips against his, giving a chance to pull away if he wanted. When he didn't pull away, you leaned in further, fully covering his lips with yours. He relaxed and leaned in, suddenly taking charge. He licked your bottom lip before biting it softly. You sighed through your nose before letting him in. He placed his hand on your thigh and wrapped your legs around his hips while pushing you into a desk. You put your hands on his chest and pushed him away gently, regaining your breath. You were both breathing deeply and studying each other's faces. "You should probably take me out to dinner first, Mr. Midoriya," you said with a joking tone. Obviously, you weren't going to go that far. You were far too young after all. He chuckled before setting you back down on your feet. "I really like you, listener. I have for a long time." "Ditto," you said, poking his nose with a boop. He smiled as he turned around and crouched in front of you. "Come on, let's go home," he said, waiting for you to get on his back. "Yes, sir!" You laughed with a salute before placing yourself on his back. He stood up and began walking out the door.